What's up, everybody? I'm Gabby. This is Brandon. Welcome to another episode of our character analysis. Today we're going to be talking about Barry Allen, or The Flash.
Now, the most famous incarnations of this character is going to be one from the Flash TV show starring Grant Gustin, and then number two, the other famous one is going to be from the Justice League movie, who is played by Ezra Miller. Now, even though the show is more popular than the actual Justice League movie, in my opinion, and I've seen bits and pieces of the TV show Flash, but in my opinion, Ezra Miller just seemed a little bit better. Not saying anything bad about Grant, but Miller just added that, well, like with Tom Holland and Spider-Man, he just had that different quality that just made the Flash kind of go, that's it.
I agree with that to an extent.
Okay.
Ezra Miller's Flash is younger, and he's a little bit more awkward, but both characters are awkward and kind of like quirky in a sense, and that's just Barry Allen / The Flash in general. I think they're both pretty quirky when it comes to that, but I see where you're coming from with Ezra Miller's, and it's like, he just brings something different. I wouldn't say that it's necessarily better, just different.
But that's this whole thing. It's a matter of opinion. Some people like this person, some people like that person. So, I mean, it's up for debate, but yeah, I stand by my thought.
That's fair. One thing that they both have in common, and it definitely fits really well with the comics, is they're both scientists. Well, Ezra Miller's, because he's younger, he hasn't become a scientist yet, but both of them are nerds, major nerds, and they're both scientists.
Right.
And that's pretty much how they get their powers, is because of their interest in science. It ends up the accident, the
right.
lightning bolt and the chemicals, like that whole deal. That's because they were in a lab.
Right. So, the two key differences between the movie Flash and the TV show Flash is that in the movie, he works completely alone until the Justice League, and that's true to the comics. But with the TV show, he works with an entire team before he ever even thinks about the Justice League, or before the Justice League is even thought of, which never happened in the comics. He was always alone. He was a loner until the Justice League happened.
Yeah.
So like Gabby said in the beginning of the video, the Flash really gets his name and his powers from an accident that happened in a lab while he was doing experiments. Lightning bolt crashes down, chemicals fly everywhere, and that's when he becomes a categorized speedster. Now, a lot of people think that Speedster isn't that big of a deal. He can run really fast, big whoop. But what a lot of people don't know or even see is that the Speedster in him, he does affect his movements, but also affects his molecular structure. He's able to think a lot faster, and he's able to think of more different ways than the normal person to actually use his powers for whatever he needs to use them for.
And because of his reaction time being as fast as it is, he has much faster reflexes, and he can just... He's fast, okay?
Short and simple.
Exactly. You mentioned a second ago that he's able to... His speed affects his molecular structure.
Right.
So he's able to speed up his molecules to the point where he just looks like he can vibrate his whole body and phase through things. You see that a whole lot in the TV show, but in the movie they haven't shown that yet. He just kind of goes... He goes through things. Whee! It's actually really cool, and I kind of wish that was a real thing.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I would have actually liked to have seen that in the movie.
That would have been really cool if they did that in the movie.
Especially if something like big boulders coming towards him, instead of trying to dodge it, he just goes through it.
Yeah.
Even I would have been, I'm walking away from that fight.
but again, because Ezra Miller's Flash is younger, he might not have learned that yet. And yeah, exactly.
What do you think of that?
Yeah, I just thought of that. Anyways, and another huge aspect of speed and his powers, and because he's a speedster, all of the speedsters can do this. They can time travel. We see that a little bit in what is it? Batman v Superman. Yeah, Batman v Superman.
It's like somewhere in the middle or the tail end.
There's like a small part in there where like he shows up, and it's like the past, and he's saying something to Batman, and Batman's not sure what's going on, and it's kind of a confusing scene because we hadn't seen the Flash in the DC movie, any of the DC movies up until like that point. But,
right. I think he was warning him to look into Lois.
Yeah.
Because he didn't know anything about Superman or who he really was, but I think it was Flash was telling him, look into Lois.
It's Lois! Lois Lane! She's the key!
Now, the aspect of him being able to time travel, we'll probably see that more if it's done right. Keyword, if Hollywood does this DC movie right, which I don't know, we could see more, or at least learn more about not just him, but not just the Flash time traveling, but any speedster time traveling, because I believe it's coming out sometime in 2020 if everything goes well. Flashpoint the movie. Now, I've seen the animated movie of it, and it was fantastic. Then again, most of the animated movies from DC are just all around better than any of the live action. But I really do hope that they do well with this, and I would love to see Ezra Miller as the Flash in that movie. If it goes to Grant Gustin on that, I'm not going to be upset.
No, they're not. Because it's a DC movie, they're not using him at all. They're
keeping it separate.
Yeah, different universes.
Gotcha. Well, then in that case, Ezra Miller. I mean, that would be because, like you said, he's still young, so he doesn't know a whole lot about his powers. So that could be a night before phasing or anything.
Yeah, that
could be a cool little thing of, hey, I could do this. Sweet.
Yes, exactly. Since you mentioned Grant Gustin, in the show, I know you said you hadn't seen a lot of it. But I've seen the majority of it.
Right.
It's a huge plot point in the TV show. He time travels so much so that he ends up with a lot of like repercussions.
Mm-hmm.
And in the show, they make the point. I think they do this in the comics too, where whenever he creates an alternate universe, whether on purpose or on an accident, they call it Flashpoint, and that's where that name comes from. It's the time where that's an alternate time because he messed up time. I said time a lot.
Now, quick side note. Do you think, since they do it a lot on the show, do you think that they do it too much where it kind of kills it? Or do they do it sparingly enough to where it fits with the storyline? They're not just doing it as a cop-out to, hey, we need something.
It's starting to be a little bit too much. I've been watching on Netflix, so I haven't watched the most current season. So.
Okay.
But the season that I just watched was all about time travel.
See, that just seems like it kind of kills it.
It did a little bit. I'm tired of time travel. I never thought I would say that. I am tired of time travel.
I mean, so in the Justice League movie, we noticed that... now, this could have been in the comics. It could not have been. We don't really know for sure. But we noticed that when Bruce met Barry and he brought him in for the Justice League, we noticed Barry was excited. Not just excited as, hey, bunch of superheroes getting together to fight, this evil thing. Great. It seemed like he was more happy that he was able to hang out with people like him and just all around have friends.
Yeah, it really did seem like that. I mean, he actually said that in the movie, that he wanted friends.
Mm-hmm.
I found that kind of odd to me, honestly. I mean, he was a little bit, he was quirky in the movie, but I don't know, it was a little bit too much. But
see, I don't think that. Here's why. I think the reason why they made him extra quirky and pretty much a loner, no friends.
It's because he's a little bit younger. I think I think he'll mellow out.
Not just that, but with his origin story, his mother was killed and his dad was wrongly convicted. He's in jail for the murder that he didn't do.
Right.
In the movie, Barry, we get to see that he really kind of grows up without his mom,
Right.
and definitely without his dad. So he doesn't know how to make friends to that standpoint, and he doesn't know how to really act in, modern day society.
Right.
Because he's hung in the movie. You see, he is hung up over trying to help his dad. Before, I don't even think he talks about being a scientist. He just wants to be.
Well, yeah, he's not necessarily trying to be a scientist. He wants to be a CSI. He wants to go for crime scene investigation, so he can investigate his dad's his mom's death, so he can help his dad get out of jail. That's the whole reason. It all stems from his mom was killed. His dad was put in jail for the killing, so he grows up in a certain way, and he believes or knows, I don't remember if he actually knows if his dad is guilty. I mean, his dad isn't guilty, but I don't know if Barry knows that.
I don't think he does.
But he wants to prove that his dad is innocent, because he loves his dad.
He kind of almost goes the revenge route without, all the bloodlust and everything like that.
Yeah.
He goes, I'm going to get revenge on whoever did this by becoming a CSI agent and getting my dad out so we can get this guy.
Yeah.
So as far as him being awkward, quirky, and a bit of a loner, it may have been too much to some people. I think it was perfect for the origin story they were going with. If he was a normal kid, grew up with his parents and everything, yes, too much. But it was just enough to where with the stories and with the storyline and the origin story, it makes perfect sense. So in that sense, I loved it.
That's fair.
So that about does for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for watching. We know it's a quick one, but it's The Flash, so it works. If you'd like to see more of these character analysis that we do, click that little icon right above us, right there, to see more of our episodes. Also, if you just love seeing us, and we appreciate that, definitely hit that subscribe button down at the bottom, and also click that little bell icon so you're one of the first to figure out when we actually put up stuff. Also, down in the description is the link to our website for our full-on reviews and reviews that we haven't put up yet and might never actually put on YouTube. Also, another one of the links that's down in the description is a link to our Patreon page, which, if you choose to back us on that, we greatly appreciate it, and definitely supports us in doing more and possibly upgrading our equipment and our location for recording and everything, and that definitely is very much appreciated. So once again, I'm Brandon, and this is Gabby. We'll see you guys next time.
Alright. I hate you.
I did.